What's good, YouTubers and YouTubettes? This is JB Sports back again with another one. Gonna talk about Terrence Bud Crawford and will he accept being the B-side versus Errol Spence Jr. That's gonna be the question that's gonna get answered next year, 2020. Will Terrence Crawford accept being the B-side versus Errol Spence Jr.? Now, it was a reason why Bob Arum was trying to make the fight for October of 2019. As we know, Errol Spence Jr. has had a press conference this past Saturday before the Manny Pacquiao Keith Thurman fight and announced that he's fighting Shawn Porter in a pay-per-view fight on September 28th at Staples Center in Los Angeles, California. Now, before that fight was made, there was a lot of rumors out there that saying that fight was pretty much close to being done, Errol versus Shawn, but it hadn't been officially. But Bob Arum did a lot of videos try to get in front of that fight being officially announced. He did a lot of interviews saying that if Errol and Shawn Porter did not come to agreement that they could make the fight between him and Errol in October. He had been talking with Al Heyman. And that's what he had proposed, to maybe make that fight happen in October of 2019. The reason why Bob Arum wanted to make that fight in October 2019 because right now Terrence Crawford has one belt and Errol Spence has one belt. And right now, you know, everything being equal, that fight's probably a 50-50 fight. You know, both guys has done one pay-per-view, even though Errol Spence pay-per-view, you know, did around 375,000 to 400,000, somewhere in that range, I believe it was. Maybe it was around 400,000 pay-per-views. They just say around 400,000 pay-per-views for Errol Spence versus Mikey Garcia. And it was rumored that Terrence Crawford versus Amir Khan did around 175,000 pay-per-views. Top Rank never released the official pay-per-views, so that led me to believe that the pay-per-views were, you know, a disappointment. I think you got to do around maybe 250 probably to break even in a pay-per-view, around 250, 200, maybe around 200,000, to break even. And they didn't cross that threshold, so they lost money on Amir Khan versus Terrence Crawford. So I believe now that Errol Spence and Shawn Porter is officially signed, and that fight is going to happen on the 28th of September. Errol Spence wins that fight. He's got 2 belts. Now, say after he wins that fight, he fights Manny Pacquiao and beats Manny Pacquiao for the WBA belt. That means he has 3 belts and two more pay-per-views. And say the fight with, I assume when Errol fights Shawn Porter, I'm going to say that fight does more than 200,000. So it produces revenue. It doesn't lose money. You know, I think 200,000 is the threshold. If the fight does under 200,000, you know, more times than not, it's going to lose money. But if it do over 200,000, then it's going to show a profit. So I'm going to say that Shawn Porter and Errol Spence does over 200,000 pay-per-view. If I had to guess, I say that fight does around 300,000 pay-per-views, somewhere between 250 and 300,000 pay-per-views, Shawn Porter versus Errol Spence. So that's going to be another successful pay-per-view. When he fights Manny Pacquiao, right now it's rumors, nothing official, but it's rumors that Manny Pacquiao and Keith Thurman did 700,000 pay-per-views. Now it's nothing official, nothing confirmed, but that's what my source is telling me, that fight did 700,000 pay-per-view. Now that's Keith Thurman. Errol Spence fight versus Manny Pacquiao at AT&T Stadium. They will probably do 70,000 fans there. And then you put it on pay-per-view, and it'll probably do around 750 to 800,000 pay-per-views against Manny Pacquiao. That fight will do huge pay-per-view numbers. So that'll be another big pay-per-view fight. And after that, you know, then you know, you're looking at a fight with, you know, maybe he does a mandatory. You know, he's got a mandatory with Ugas. Maybe he takes one mandatory, or maybe not. Or maybe he goes into a super fight with Terrence Crawford. In the meantime, Terrence Crawford is getting ready to fight Igor Kavaliauskas. That fight's going to be on regular ESPN. I don't think that's not going to be a pay-per-view fight. So it depends on what kind of numbers that does, but it's not a pay-per-view fight. After that, where does Terrence Crawford go? Who is he going to fight? Maybe he fights a Luis Galazzo. That's not a pay-per-view fight. Maybe they can do that fight in the Barclays, or maybe do that at MSG. And well, Barclays got an exclusive deal with PBC. I don't think it'll be in the Barclays. I think if he fight Galazzo in New York, it'll be at Madison Square Garden. And the question I asked about that fight was, well, it'll be, I was gonna say, will it be in the big room or the little room? Will it be in the Hula Theater or will it be in the main room, Madison Square Garden? I'm gonna say that Terrence Crawford is big enough right now that fight would be in the big room, Madison Square Garden. But it's not a pay-per-view fight. So going into a potential matchup with Errol Spence Jr., Terrence Crawford would have one pay-per-view that didn't make money, lost money, $175,000. I already told you guys that a pay-per-view fight to be a success, it has to cross the $200,000, 200,000 pay-per-view buys for it to make money. I think 200,000 pay-per-views to make money. And so he would have one failed pay-per-view. He did a pay-per-view previously with what's the guy name? Man, I can't get the guy name. The 140-pounder last year, he did the guy that beat Luis Mathise. What's the guy name? But anyway, this is Terrence Crawford's second pay-per-view. He did a pay-per-view 2 years ago, 2017, did a pay-per-view for the unification at 140 pounds. He fought, I got to get the guy's name. What's the guy name? The tall European fighter, man. Very robotic, man. He's got a good jab, man, but just very robotic, man. But he's very technically sound, man. But anyway, that fight, that fight did around 40,000 pay-per-views, I think. Around 40,000. It was a huge flop. So you look at Terrence Crawford, man. His two pay-per-views, basically, both of them lost money. And you look at Errol Spence. Not only did his pay-per-views make money, but his pay-per-views were huge success. Mikey Garcia, 400,000. I know a lot of you fans come, oh man, that was Mikey Garcia, Hispanic fans showing up and buying that fight. That's what happened. Don't put that on Errol. Yeah, you got to put it on Errol. It was in Errol hometown, and Errol Spence has a lot of Hispanic fans. His style of fighting is very appealing to Hispanic fans. So you can't just tell me that all those fans was there just because of Mikey Garcia. They were there with Errol Spence. I had a lot of people that was at that fight. I wasn't there, but they said there was a lot of people there pulling, Hispanic fans that was pulling for Errol Spence. So he had a pay-per-view success with Mikey Garcia. Granted, it was a good dance partner, but he had a great pay-per-view success with Mikey Garcia. Fight Sean Porter. Now everybody knows he said that Sean Porter couldn't sell out a family dinner. He fights Sean Porter, and that fight does around 300,000. That's another pay-per-view success. Then he fights Manny Pacquiao. That's going to be a big pay-per-view success. I'm looking at least 750 to 800,000. That's being on the conservative scale. Especially if he did 700,000 fighting Keith Thurman, you would think he would do more fighting Errol Spence, more of a threat, a guy that's been active, a guy that's been dominant fighting in all his in his fights. Dominant fighter in 147 pounds. A guy that's viewed as one of the top dogs at 147 pounds. So that fight, I think, would do success. People try to see if Manny Pacquiao could turn back the clock once again and get a big win. So that fight would do huge success coming off the Pacquiao-Thurman fight. So he would have all the leverage, man. The pay-per-view vibes, the pay-per-view success behind him. Terrence Crawford will have a couple of fights that that followed a disappointing pay-per-view fight with Amir Khan, a fight that ended. That a lot of people weren't happy with the way it ended, with Amir Khan quitting. A lot of people said that it was a low blow by Terrence Crawford. It didn't satisfy the fans that did buy that fight and did attend that fight. You would have him coming off that in a win in a fight against Igor Kavalauskas, a guy that nobody knows but hardcore boxing fans. Then he fights a Luis Collazo after that. That's a guy that's got a little bit of a name, but none of the outside of hardcore boxing fan, nobody knows either. He's got a following in New York, but he's not known to the casual fan. Coming off those two fights, then jumping into an Errol Spence fight, Terrence Crawford would be in a position to, if he wants to fight Errol Spence, he would have no choice but to accept the B-side status, and that's going to be the question that was going to get answered when the negotiations start between those two fighters. Errol is not going to fight Terrence Crawford 50-50 after fighting Sean Porter on pay-per-view, Manny Pacquiao on pay-per-view, and both of those fights having pay-per-view successes. After fighting Mikey Garcia and having a successful pay-per-view, and Terrence Crawford fighting Edis Kavalauskas on ESPN, free TV, and fighting, I ain't going to say free TV, basic cable. You got to pay for that. Fighting him and then fighting Luis Collazo after that. There's no way it's going to be 50-50. If Errol Spence offers Terrence Crawford 60-40, Terrence Crawford need to run with that. He needs to run with that. You understand me? I'm a Terrence Crawford fan. Don't be thinking, oh man, you hating on Terrence Crawford. You an Errol Spence fan. It don't have nothing to do with who I'm a fan of. It's got to do with the business of boxing. This is a business. This is called prize fighting. It's called an A side, B side. If it's a 50-50 revenue split and both guys are bringing a lot to the table, that's one thing. But this is not that case. You know, both guys are two of the top fighters at welterweight, but you cannot look at just who you grade the top two at the welterweight and it should be 50-50. You can't go by that as far as who's the top two at welterweight. These are two best fighters, so it should be 50-50. You got to look at what each fighter brings to the table and what each fighter has brought to the table up to this point. And it's going to be obvious that Errol Spence is going to be the money man in this negotiations. He's going to be the clear A side based on his previous fights compared to Terrence Crawford's previous fights. So that's what it is, folks. That's what it is, man. That's what it is. You know, he's going to have to slip at least 60-40. Errol might not give him 60-40. Errol might say, well, shit, man, look, you know, I give you, man, 70-30, man, but, you know, I might work with you and give you 65-35 based on the numbers. You know, it really shouldn't be 60-40, but I think Errol would, you know, try to make the fight happen. You know, he want to be undisputed. I think Errol will say, okay, you know, I gonna, you know, give you an olive branch basically and say 60-40. And if he gives him 60-40 again, Terrence Crawford has got to take that and run. He's got to take that and run. He can't have Barbara him like, oh no, it's 50-50. These are the two top welterweights in the welterweight division. Terrence Crawford is pound for pound #1. He should be able to take 50-50. No. Pound for pound ain't got nothing to do with who's the best, who's the A side. That has nothing to do with who's the A side. A side is based on who brings the most to the table as far as pay-per-view buys and you know, TV ratings and all that comes into play. All that comes into play, man. If that was the case, the first fight between Triple G and Canelo Alvarez should have been 50-50 because Triple G was ranked higher in the pay-per-view. I mean, higher on pound-for-pound list at that time than Canelo. He was ranked higher. But you see, he didn't get no 50-50 because Canelo was a draw. He was the drawing power. He was the clear A side due to what he had a whole country behind him. His pay-per-view sales, you know, his TV ratings. It was no comparison between Canelo Alvarez and Triple G in that aspect, and that's why he got the A-side status, and he got the high split of the pie. And that's going to be the same situation with Errol Spence and Terrence Bud Crawford. Terrence Crawford has done better. Bottom line is Errol Spence have done better numbers than Terrence Crawford. You know, and that's what it is, man. That's what it is, and that's going to allow him to be the clear A-side. So for that fight to happen, Terrence Bud Crawford, and I got him on my pound for pound list. He's #1. I got him #1. I think I got Errol #2 on pound for pound. I ain't just talking about welterweight. I'm talking about pound for pound. I got Terrence Crawford 1. I think I got Errol 2, and I think I got Loma 3. Canelo 4. I had Keith Thurman 5 before for the Jose. Really, it wouldn't have nothing to do with the Pacquiao fight. I'm talking about before the whole. You know, we had that 2-year break, and he came back and fought Josecito Lopez. Didn't look that great in that fight. I forgot who I had #5, but that was my top 4. I had moved Keith Thurman out of there. I had Jared Hurd up there too, man. Before he lost to J-Rock, I took him off, and but they were my top 4, man. Canelo 4, and they were my top 4 right there. So I have to do a new updated one. Maybe I'll do another video and give you my official top 5. But anyway, that's what it is, man. That's what it is, man. That's what it is. He's going to have to be the clear. He's going to have to accept clear B-side status versus Errol Spence. You know, because like I said, you look at the quality, big name welterweights that Terrence Crawford has fought. It's just not going to match up, man, with Errol Spence. Edith Kavalauskas, Luis Collazo. You compare that to Showtime, Sean Porter, WBC champion, Manny Pac-Man Pacquiao, a legend, the WBA champion. You know, there's just going to be no comparison. Mikey Garcia was on the top 5. He was on my top 5 pound for pound before he got washed by Errol. You fought him and dominated him in a lopsided decision win. You know, you beat him. It's just no comparison, man, to names, you know, pay-per-view buys, TV ratings. I know Bud did real high pay-per-view ratings, not pay-per-view ratings, but I know he did real high TV ratings when he fought Jose Benavidez. But when you compare that to when Errol Spence fought Leonard Bundu, It's no comparison. I think Terrence did what, 3 million, 3 million paper, 3 million TV, 2 to 3 million TV rating of eyes, TV, TV ratings of TV ratings versus Jose Benavidez. I think he did 2 to 3 million views for that Jose Benavidez fight. Errol Spence did 6 million TV views for Leonard Bundu. That was coming after the Olympics. The USA men's Olympics team had just got through winning the gold medal, 2016 when he fought Leonard Bundu. So he was able to pick it back off that. But it is what it is, man. 6 million views is 6 million views. That's just all we can do is look at the numbers. We can't try to put all this other stuff into it. Well, he had the U.S. men's dream team to pick it back off of. That wasn't really him. They could have turned the TV off after the game over with. This game over with, man. Let's go ahead and celebrate. They didn't. Not a lot of people didn't do that. They didn't turn the TV off. They could have turned their TV off after the men's played. They could be like, this game over with. Let me go watch a movie, or something like that. They didn't do that, man. A lot of them tuned in to watch Errol Spence fight. So it is what it is, man. So that's going to be the problem, man. Another thing I think Bob Arum and Terrence Crawford need to do, if I was Bob Arum, man, I would throw a big bag. I would not try to fight Igor Kovalaska. They haven't called that mandatory yet. He's the #1 contender, but that mandatory hasn't been called yet. I know they want to get that out the way, but that's just a nondescript opponent, man. Ain't nobody know who this guy is, man. This guy's from Russia. His last fight, he looked lackluster against Ray Robinson, man. A lot of people thought he even lost that fight. Didn't look good at all. If I was them, I'd throw the bag at Danny Garcia. Danny Garcia's out here on the hunt for an opponent. He was rumored to be fighting Mikey Garcia, but Mikey Garcia's in negotiations with Eddie Hearn and DAZN, and we don't know which way he's gonna go right now. You don't know if he's gonna stay with PBC or sign with DAZN. So Danny Garcia is on the hunt for an opponent. So I throw a big bag at him. I know the last time they threw I think $5 million at Danny Garcia for a pay-per-view fight. They're gonna have to double that, man. They got to double that, man. They got to make it worth his while. $5 million ain't gonna get it done. They got to throw $10 million at Danny Garcia, $10 million guarantee, and try to get Danny Garcia over here. Try to do a big pay-per-view fight. Even if you, I know they're gonna say, well, we lost money, $10 million. That's a big chance for Top Rank to take, especially after losing money versus Amir Khan, who's arguably a bigger name than Danny Garcia, even though he's not the fighter Danny Garcia is. Well, you got to take a chance, 10 million, I say 10 million, that's double, but at least you got to throw more than 5 million, man. You got to throw something that's going to entice him, man. Throw 8 million. That's what Errol was rumored to make against Mikey Garcia. You got to throw 8 million at Danny Garcia. Throw 8 million at him, plus a percentage of the pay-per-view split, and try to see if he'll take it, man. You'll say, look, you fighting Danny, you fighting for a world title. You're getting $8 million plus pay-per-view upside. Come over here to ESPN for a one fight deal. We're not gonna tie you in as far as futures. We have futures on your future fights. We're not gonna do that. But just a one fight deal, $8 million guarantee plus pay-per-view upside, to see if Danny Garcia bite. If he don't bite, then you call Keith Thurman. You already tried to bring Keith Thurman over there before. Keith Thurman turned you down. I guess it wasn't enough money for him to come over. He's happy at PBC, but you throw $8 million at Keith one-time Thurman, same deal, plus pay-per-view upside to come fight Terrence Crawford. You got to get a name on your thing, on your resume at welterweight. You beat Jeff Horn, who was a champion, man, but a lot of people thought he lost to Manny Pacquiao. But you beat him, man. Then you fought Jose Benavidez on one leg. Guy that was undefeated, man, but a guy that, again, wasn't rated too high. Then you fought, who else you fought at, that's your two fights at welterweight. Jose Benavidez and Jeff Horn. And then you fought Amir Khan, who had a name, but the pay-per-view sales were low, They didn't even, like I said, didn't even cross the $200,000 threshold. So that was a problem with that fight. That fight lost money. That's why Top Rank is not, really interested in putting on another Terrence Crawford pay-per-view, because a lot of people were speculating that after he beat Amir Khan, he would fight Kell Brook, and maybe they put that fight on pay-per-view. They would probably have to pay Kell Brook what he want. And Top Rank, they don't want to do that because they feel that fight's going to lose money. Based on, they say, if Amir Khan, we couldn't make money with Amir Khan, and we're going to fight a guy that's lesser known than Amir Khan, not known, especially in the U.S., lesser known than Amir Khan. And we're going to put on another pay-per-view, we're going to lose more money. So they're not interested in that fight. So It's just a tough situation for Terrence Bud Crawford, man. A talented guy. A guy that to me that's he kind of lacks persona. I'm not saying he lacks persona as far as he's a quiet guy. He doesn't he doesn't rattle a lot of cages. He doesn't say a lot of controversial things. He just basically a guy that gets in the ring, take care of his business, shows his skill level at a very high level at that, and gets the job done. But outside of the ring, man, he doesn't do a lot of self-promoting, man. He doesn't do a lot of talking, man. Like Adrian Broner, Keith Thurman, guys like that. Even Errol Spence, man, he's got that southern drawl, man. When you see in the press conference with Sean Porter, man, and even in the press conference with Mikey Garcia, man, he's got that southern swag, and he you know, they call him the truth, and he speaks truth, man. He tells you exactly how he feels. He don't try to sugarcoat nothing. So he's got a good persona in boxing, and that's what Terrence Crawford is lacking, man. That's what he's lacking, man. He's lacking that boxing persona, man. He's kind of a quiet guy, man, and like I said, he doesn't say a lot of things to try to self-promote himself, and I think that hurts him, man. It's going to hurt him in this situation. So for him, if he wants to fight Errol Spence, after Errol Spence gets through taking care of his business on his side of the street, he's going to have to accept less than a 50-50 split. And I think his best case situation as far as Terrence Crawford goes is 60-40. At this point, I don't even know if Errol will be happy with 60-40. He might want something better than that. But if he does get off of 60-40, he needs to take that and run with it. He don't need to be trying to, oh man, okay, he give me 40. Let me see if I get 45. And try to, no. You need to take that 60-40, man. You need to take that deal, man. You take that deal, man. See what happens, man. But we'll see what happens, man. We'll see what happens, man. We'll see what happens. But we'll see what happens, man. We'll see what happens, man. We'll see what happens. That's just my 2 cents on the situation, man. That's my 2 cents on it, man. We'll see what happens, man. We'll see what happens, man. You know what? I'm just sitting here trying to think, man. I'm trying to think of the guy, Terrence Crawford's first pay-per-view fight. His first pay-per-view fight was at 140 pounds unification fight. I'm trying to think of the guy's name. I just hate it when I can't remember that guy's name. 140 pounds, man. The guy beat Lucas Mathise for the 140-pound belt. He fought, he was supposed to fight Danny Garcia. Danny Garcia, I think, he paid him step-aside money and fought somebody else. A lot of people said Danny Garcia ducked him, but I don't think Danny ducked him. It just wasn't no money in the fight. But anyway, he got the belt and he fought Terrence Bud Crawford. That fight was in Las Vegas. It was a pay-per-view fight. I remember going to a sports bar. The sports bar I went to, man, it's not even open no more, man. But the sports bar I went to watch that fight, man, I remember, man, and I was all excited, man, because it was a true, going into that fight, that was a true 50-50 fight, man, with him and Terrence Crawford, man. But Terrence Crawford dominated him. First 3 or 4 rounds was kind of back and forth, kind of even because his height. The guy had a lot of height on Terrence, but Terrence made the adjustment and broke the guy down, man, and won the fight going away, man. But it was a vintage performance by Terrence Crawford. But the pay-per-view vibes was horrible, man. Like I said, I think it did around 40,000, somewhere between 40 to 60,000. But I think it was more toward 40,000 pay-per-views. It was horrible, man. Horrible. But anyway, man, that's what it is, man. But I'm about to get up out of here, man, eat a little breakfast, man. Just giving you my 2 cents on the situation, man. Terrence Bud Crawford is going to have to accept a less than 50-50 split to get a fight with Errol Spence. I think if he gets 60-40 offered to him by Team Spence, he needs to take that and run with it. If not, this fight is not going to happen, folks. If him and Bob Arum insist on 50-50, it's not going to happen. That's not how boxing works. When you got a clear guy that's clearly A-side, clearly a bigger draw, clearly doing better numbers, he's not going to do you no kind of favor because y'all good friends, or he got your phone number and this and that, or he respect you, or you rated higher than him and on some kind of, if you rated higher than him on some kind of mythical pound for pound list, it's not going to work like that. They're going to look at the numbers that he brings to the table, and the number you bring to the table. And it just doesn't stack up as being even, 50-50. It doesn't stack up that way. It stack up as Errol Spence is a clear A-side. Clear A-side based on the numbers. This is JB Sports, the man, the myth, the legend. I holla.